service?
Well, actually I've got two names. I was Salvatore Sambasile, and I go by Sam. I was in the U.S. Army Air Force, is the branch of service I was in.
Why did you pick the Army Air Corps?
I picked the Army Air Corps because when I got drafted, I went into cadet training. I had a high enough IQ, and went cadet training. Went to Wichita Falls, Texas. Went to basic training as a cadet. And right before we were supposed to graduate, we needed gunners. So they shipped us all to Las Vegas. And we went to gunnery school in Las Vegas. That was back in 1943.
So then you headed toward, tell me about when you got to Europe. Where did you arrive in Europe?
Well, we arrived actually we were about 10 minutes off course. We arrived in Southern Ireland. And the pilot said that we were off course, that was Southern Ireland. We all said land, land, land. Because if you land, they were a free state. They weren't in war. We got interned there. We had to go to war. But anyway, he turned around, went up north, and we landed in Northern Ireland. I think Belgrade, I think. And we stayed there, I think one night, and then they shipped us to a base in England. The base was based in England, I think about 70 miles west of London. And that's where we started out our missions.
What was your assignment on the aircraft?
I was a waist gunner.
How did you get that job?
Okay? They just gave it to me. There was a 10-man crew, there was 2 men in the waist, and there was 2 of us in the waist.
Tell us about your first flight.
My
first one?
My first flight, usually what they did, to gain experience, they put you with a seasoned crew. And I was the first one that was picked to fly. And I remember that night, I think we had to get up about 2 o'clock in the morning. But that night, all the crew members said, "Can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have this? Can I have that?" "What are you guys talking about?" I said, "Well, if you don't come back." So I'm coming back. You can't have anything. But I flew with the crew, and we bombed Paris. That was on D-Day. The first time I ever flew, we bombed a target in Paris. And I think it was, I don't recall if there was much flak. It was kind of an easy mission. And that was my first mission.
How many missions did you participate in?
We got shot down on our 33rd mission. We made 33 missions. Well, we made 32 and a half. We didn't make 33rd. Originally we started out to fly 25 missions. Well, we got to about 20 or 21. They extended it to 30. And when we got to 30, they extended 35, and the pilot volunteered us for B-29s in the United States as soon as we finished our 35 days, so it wouldn't go any further. He wanted to get back home for Christmas. And, well, normally when you get that many missions we had, you usually get the milk runs. But BZD volunteered us while we flew every mission, and we had some tough missions. I think we went to Berlin a couple times, the last few missions that we made. And then we found out the reason we never took a rest leave or anything. The reason that we didn't get relief was that none of us showed any stress. And so they kept us going. And until, we got shot down.
The question, how do you handle the fear? How did you handle the fear, constant fear?
Well, when there were 2 of us in the waist, whenever the flak started getting bad, Andy was about 6'1", and I was 5'3", and we together just hug each other, and as soon as the noise stopped, then one of us would get up, look out the window, and it looked pretty good, and about then it started over again, and down we go. So between the 2 of us, I think we comforted each other.
Were you more fearful of the flak or the fighters?
Oh, I'm more fearful of the flak. Couldn't do anything about the flak. We went right straight through it, never went around it. And the fighters could shoot back. That's something to do. But the flak, was nothing you can do except sit there. We used to go out and see if we could find a few extra flak suits. And we put down for below us. And then we had a flak suit on, had a helmet on, and we just get down and just kind of hug each other and hope for the best. There's something that's hard to explain. The fear that you had was entirely different. There was fear there.
When you would get on the plane with the crew, did you guys talk about the fear, or was it just unspoken? Everybody had to handle it in their own way to get on board that aircraft. Every mission you had to go.
I don't think we ever discussed it much, you know. But like whenever we came back from mission, why they always interrogated us, you know, and asked what we seen. And the doctors looked at us, and I think you got a shot of booze or something, and some donuts, coffee. And but as far as I was concerned, well, I don't think it really. When I got off the plane, I didn't take it with me.
Did you ever have anybody on the crew severely injured?
The only time I remember somebody in the radio operator got hit by flak in the leg, and the pilot called me and asked me to go in and check him. So I put on the walk-around bottle, and I went there, and he was, EJ was holding his leg, you know, like this, like he was in misery, you know, and I tore his heated suit open, just a little, there wasn't much of a spot, and I says, yeah, I laughed at him, and he calmed down. I suppose it burnt. I suppose the flak was hot. I suppose it was more of a burning feeling than it was much blood. But he calmed down, and I went back and to my position, and that took care of that episode.
Describe the heated suit, what you wore.
The heated suit was electric suit. You know, you can go to 450, 60 below zero, and you stayed warm. And we had silk liners and our mitts, and it kept you warm. I think we had a liner that was heated. We had boots over the suit, and I never got cold. But if you had a regular sheep-lined jacket, it was cold. I don't think keep you cold enough or warm enough. But the heated suit worked great.
You think back on all those missions that you and your crew flew on. What's the most memorable experience that you think about today?
I think the only thing I didn't like one time or a couple times, I wound up in the ball turret, and that I didn't like. I couldn't see the airplane, down below the airplane, and I just couldn't. I didn't like that. You know, that disturbed me more than anything. But other than that, why? I think it was routine with us. We figured that nothing would happen, and we just kept going and going and going.
Describe the day when you were hit.
Well, that's something that it happened so sudden. Evidently my oxygen supply got knocked out, and the pilot told me that the plane dropped, both right engines were out, and there was fire in the wing. The plane dropped, almost rolled over. He said, just dropped like a bullet. I think we went from like 28 or 25,000 feet down to 17,000, which the pilot thinks it was less than 17,000, because so I was out of oxygen from 25,000 to 17,000. I didn't have any oxygen. And I don't know, so far I didn't fall. I think the Lord kept me up. I did fall, and the plane was over on its side, almost went over on its back. If it had rolled over, the pilot would have never got out. Even the co-pilot finally straightened it out, and we tried to, I think EJ and I tried, when I first came to, the ball turret was out of the ball turret, and normally he would fall asleep, and I'd crank him up, wake him up, and for him to get out of the ball turret. But he's out to the point in my oxygen supply, and the whole thing was shot out. And so I put a walk-on bottle on, and EJ and I, there's a hole in the radiator, and we tried to squirt some fire extinguisher in the wing, but it just kept blowing in, so we quit. And so the navigator come back. He says, you're going to have to get out. So we all got ready to try to open the waist door. The waist door wouldn't open, it was jammed. So we went to the tail door, that little door in the back of the plane, and we went out from there. I think the tail gun went out first. He sat down, you know, and he didn't want to go, so I helped him. Then I got down, and I went first, and I pulled my the cord. I didn't know how high we were. I pulled my cord, and the chute up, and almost the radio operator went out behind me and says, you almost hit the tail. You almost got in the tail. It just opened that quick, which is, I should have never done that, but I never had experienced the chute anyway. And on the way down, I was coming backwards, and I figured I'm going to turn this thing around. So I got the shouts, and it turned like this, and I let go and went right back where it went. So then I looked down, it looked like I was going to hit water. So I tried to slip the chute, you know, I figured, well, just pull on this side and go that way. I pulled on the chutes going at this. I said, it's going to go where it wants to go. I'm not going any further with it. And as I was coming down backwards, I couldn't turn around. I landed in a little village. It must have been maybe 8 or 10 houses. There's a park bench they used to gather. I missed it by a couple of feet, and I hit the ground. I rolled like a ball. I got up, and there was this old German from the, I think they call him the Volksturm or something. And he had a rifle pointing at me. He kept hollering, pistol, pistol. I said, no, no, no. He put the rifle down, I put my hands down. He put the rifle up back and forth for a while. And finally, he got up and walked over to the bench, and he put his gun down, you know, and a young girl, about 10, maybe 11, come up to me and said, don't worry, they're not going to hurt you. And I had a silk scarf. I took it off and I give it to her. And after that, they start bringing the rest of them in one at a time. Who was it? The bombardier, he said he landed in a tree, and some German could help him down. He says, come, go follow me. And he followed him. And the power company turned off the juice.
Hold thought, Sam.
Huh?
Hold that thought just for a second. See the power turn on.